Yo, 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 what's going on? Cowboys Collective, episode number 41, episode Terrence Newman Law.
Yeah, Charlie Waters from Toxic Tom. Hey,
Toxic.
Episode Charlie Waters.
Tom is the greatest commenter. Until somebody comes for us, Sky, we got to go with Tom.
He's
so Tom, you're holding down the crown there. John Machota, Skywalker still. Law Nation, we got a good one for you guys today, and we see the live stream is filling up, and we thank you guys so much for growing with us. So, quick housekeeping note, we are entering the dead period. It is what it is. We are going to be moving to one show a week. We'll have topics. Myself and Skywalker still be coming together, trying to get you guys some good topics to get us through this period. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Also, buyer beware some of the clickbait stuff you guys are going to start seeing. I'm sure we'll talk about that today. But as always, we're going to start with John Machota, what he's hearing on the ground. The Cowboys actually just made 2 transactions, John. So we'll start with, man, pretty cool ones, I feel like, So.
Okay, I should land an egg on my head, huh?
No egg on this one, Scott. No egg on this one, Law. Tell your wife put the shampoo away. No. So as always, here's Johnny.
Yeah, these are exciting moves. No, so the Cowboys have waived cornerback Luke Barku and defensive tackle Justin Rogers, who I know fans really thought that Rogers could possibly do something, being maybe that 4th man in the D tackle rotation this year. But it looks like he's out, and that's because they're going to sign Perion Winfrey and then also corner Robert Rochelle. And so these are guys that are former, 4th round pick type guys who. Rochelle's bounced around the NFL, and Winfrey kind of the same, but he's coming from the UFL. And so obviously they like the upside of him a little bit more than what they do with Rodgers. And so that's why those 2 moves happen here. I still think if you get to training camp and you don't feel great about defensive tackle or another move needs to be made, they've shown that they'll make one there. And I feel the exact same way about corner. I'm not going to get too much more into that just because some of the topics that Foots has set up for the rest of the show kind of touch on some of that stuff. So we'll get into that one a little bit more. The only other thing I wanted to talk about off the top is just because we didn't do a Thursday show last week and that wrapped up minicamp. So I just wanted to share a takeaway from minicamp that I thought was pretty interesting. And maybe I'm the only one that thinks it's interesting, but I just wanted to share this one. And that's, we had it was a walkthrough. So it wasn't like Tuesday and Wednesday were actual practices like OTAs were, but Thursday was just a walkthrough. So there wasn't a ton to take away from the on the field work. But after we talked to Brian Schottenheimer, and he had this quote when he was talking about the coaching staff. And I thought this part was interesting. And that's that he said, we're going to win. And when we win, our coaching staff is going to get rated. People are going to come after our coaches because we're going to win. And the reason why I thought that was interesting is because I'm just naturally pretty cynical. Like that hasn't happened in Dallas since the 90s, like where staff has just been completely rated. So when he said that, I'm just like, all right, that's a bold one to say, because now as an assistant coach or somebody here or there, yeah, but for a staff to get rated, it's been a long time since that's happened. And so obviously he has a lot of confidence. And so that one kind of stood out to me more than anything from that final day. He did get emotional talking about his father. It was, a lot of questions were being asked him going into Father's Day. So there were some little things there. Dak had some interesting quotes and stuff like that we can get into. But, and then the only other thing I'll wrap up, and again, we'll probably get into this a little bit more with other topics, but I think the biggest news of the day for a Cowboys fan would be that Jair Alexander signed with the Ravens. And it's not a huge deal. It's 1 year, $6 million. Now, with that being said, it sounds like he took a little bit less so he could play with his former college teammate. And Lamar Jackson, they both played together at Louisville. But when you look at what the Cowboys need, corner to me is their biggest need. And if we're on this show right now, actually, we wouldn't have waited this long if they would have signed Jair Alexander. We probably done the show a couple hours ago. But yeah, you can say whatever you want right now, but you're lying yourself if you say that you saw on the bottom of your screen or something today that Cowboys signed Jair Alexander for 1 year, $6 million, that you'd be like, nah, that's a bad move. Shouldn't have done that. I don't believe you.
Nah. I think it would have been welcomed by a lot of Cowboys fans with cheers. But then for me, the only question mark was health. Like, he hasn't played a whole lot, but at this point, it's like you need to get a guy out there that's been proven in this league because you may not have the rookie out there early. You're definitely not going to have well, I don't know. Diggs said he could be week 1, but I don't really expect it to happen. So
Right.
big need right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Sky, before we get into the topics, and thank you, John, for the layup. I'm trying to work on my host game right now. I'm at a C+. I need to get to an A+. And I'm trusting the process, right? I'm setting you guys up, man. So, Sky, I want you to talk on something that I think you did a great job kind of dispelling on Twitter, and that's the Stephon Reveal stuff. I think fans want to know, and rightfully so. And John, you could chime in law as well. Like, what did you guys hear? I didn't really read too much into what Breer said, but Sky, what did you get from all of that?
Well, we can just shut it down. Breer clarified, because I think what happened was that clip came out, and even if you listen to the full episode, he didn't necessarily say when the setback happened. He just said setback. And when you think setback, you're thinking, oh, well, they drafted him in April or May, and it's June now. There was a setback from that time. But per many people that have already spoken on it, right, reached out to those in the know, and there was no setback. So Breer, after getting some fire, was like, wait, my bad. That's not what I meant. I meant he had a setback in fall or what have you. So he's talking about probably the initial injury. So I think all of it was just a big misunderstanding.
Yeah.
John, did you hear anything else? Or I mean, I feel like it was just a big nothing burger. But at this time of the year, this is what happens. It's so funny because I saw so many people going in. You know what I mean, Scott? Like people were like really like, whoa. And you know what I think that also says to Reveal. People expect him to be like a contributor at some point, and this year, and possibly at a high level. So I think that kind of just spooked people. But it was good to hear that was nothing.
I just hope that the Cowboys just don't rush that situation. I think Stephon Reveal, he'll be a premium good guy for us, but September and October, I just don't want to see him out there that soon. Now he could be there, but I just think the Cowboys should slow the rotation with him, in my opinion.
That's why if you go get another veteran that has starting capabilities, then all of a sudden it's like, well, if you get anything from Stephon or you get anything from Diggs earlier than expected, then that's great. Good for you. But at least you can go into week 1, you can go to Philadelphia, and you're like, hey, if we got to roll out here with whoever that is, let's say it's Stephon Gilmore, Kyer Elam, and Deron Bland, you feel a lot better. And then, hey, even a Kalen Carson, if he can step up, and all of a sudden you're in Oxnard, and you're just like, damn, Kalen Carson looks like he's really taking like a second-year jump. Like he could be somebody that they could count on in a pinch, then that's all great. But where you sit right now, I just find it very hard to believe that that's how they feel right now.
I think Gilly has to be sitting there at the top of their black book or their phone book or whatever, because Jerry's like 90, so he got a flip phone. So he going through his Rolodex, and Gilly has to be that red card in there. Like, hey, we got to call him. We get to camp. I know their thing is let's get to camp, let's see these guys and all that. There's not much you're gonna be able to see and say, you know what, Andrew Booth can go guard AJ Brown in week 1, man. You know what, Kayla Carson, no. Gilly, they told Gilly, hey, man, we need you to go out there and shut down A.J. Brown. He went out there and got in A.J. Brown's head. So I just feel like Gilly has to be the guy that's on the speed dial right now. And he's a veteran. He don't want to be here at minicamp at OTA. So, and he knows the city. I think he lives in Dallas. So I don't think it's going to take long.
I wouldn't mind that move either, because, people will bring up the age and things like that, and that's fine. But, I also wouldn't be going into that deal thinking I need him in 17, 16, 15, 16, 17 in the playoffs. And if I do, great. But I'm hoping that I got Diggs back by then. That's however Stephon Reveal has come along. Then one of them are clicking at that point. And then, hey, if Gilmore's still healthy, then he's playing great. That's a great problem to have, But I'm not looking at it as I understand his age. I'm not dismissing that. I'm not dismissing how he, he ended up with an injury 2 years ago when he was with the Cowboys, and some people could argue that at that time, he's got a lot of miles on him or whatever like that. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at a guy that I know can step in there early in the season. I think he'd be pretty fresh. He knows how to get his body ready. He's, and he fills a gap for me for the first month or two of the season.
Yes, and then just to say this, John, no matter how slick that tire is, that Gilly may be, it's still a better tire than Andrew Booth or Robert Rochelle, dare I say. So I think that the Cowboys will be wise to just bring that slick tire back, right? No thread left. Y'all get it? Come on.
And I say this to kind of talk about what Law said. Everything we know about Stephon Reveille, right? If you've done the homework, is he's a fighter. Mm-hmm. He's a different type of grinder. You listen to his dad talk, you listen to him. I mean, literally what he had to do to get on a college football field was literally a story that most college kids, they're working a 9 to 5 or whatever. They're just probably like, you know what, I'm going to just enter the real world. And he was able to do that. Right, John? And so to me, if you could bring in a Gilly or just said veteran that could ease him into playing football, I think that's what's been such a beautiful thing about this offseason was the fact that you got a player of this caliber in the third round and not having to depend on him early and then bringing him up the rear. That's where it's like, okay, but if you try to throw him out there early, Law, like you said,
right,
there's a setback. He's not ready because I'll say this, John. I saw a picture of him. He looks like a defensive end, bro. Like he not I'm talking about height wise. Like he is a nice looking athlete, bro. It was a picture, I think, of him and Diggs, and he was in the back, and it was just like, man, I see what you mean. Like he's not as thick as a defensive end, but like as far as like he's every bit of 6'2", 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's. What is he listed as, Sky? Was he listed as 6'1"?
6'2" and some change, right? Or is it 6'1" and close to 6'2"? I think he's legitimately 6'2".
Bro,
it looks.
Yes.
Massive.
Yes, still.
John pulling out the book now.
Yeah, team's got him at 6'2", 194.
Change.
194.
I
know he ain't 194.
Yeah.
I think he's every bit of one. I think he might be bigger. Law. He's coming.
I'm bigger than 194, so I'm just thinking that and I ain't
the length,
6'2".
When you talk, think about this, Law. He tall, true 6'2", and he nothing but muscle, bro. Like
you mentioned something about. I think the veteran aspect is so underrated. Because, right now, I don't think you have, obviously don't have Gilly in there, but you don't even have a Gilly in the room. And Deron Bland is a young veteran, but coming off the injury, still learning this league. Trevon Diggs, I wouldn't put him in that category. He is a veteran, but I wouldn't put him in that a young pup. Let me show you the ropes. Stephon Gilmore did when he got here. Him and Cooks clicked because they helped those rooms in 2023. It would be nice to have that guy in here. Because the rest, think about that whole room. Aside from Diggs, all those guys only have like 3 occurred seasons at most in there, correct? Andrew Booth might have more, but there's nobody in there that's proven that can show them the ropes, that can tell them this is how you get your body ready, this is how you can perform at the high level, or just flat out teach them the small intricacies of the game. I think Deron Bland talked about Gilly helping him out, and Diggs did a couple years ago at camp. So it'd be nice to have that guy in there.
And Tom is hilarious. He said, I get excited about height, weight, speed. I know Sky, he's nuts. And don't look at the comments. He's nuts. Tom, we can take our time today because it's in the dead season. But Tom is a wild boy. Now, I will say this. That's John, that's a draft nerd to me. Because John, I'm always saying, like, bro, Sky, how much have I said this? Tall corners deter quarterbacks. I don't care what you say. If you don't, man, Sky, like if you're not a quarterback that understands ball placement, understands windows, tall corners deter quarterbacks, and that's why that Legion of Boom and those guys. Yeah. It was Dan Quinn and Gus Bradley were able to run that stuff.
Gus Bradley.
Well, I'll go with tall physical corners.
Physical, not just tall.
Sean Wright was like,
John, he's coming. He came up the top.
And Stephon Reveille is physical. Like, he's a physical player. So
fans are gonna love him, Scott. He will, if he can cover. Oh, they'll love him because he's gonna tackle. He's gonna stick his nose in there. Yep. All right, guys, we're gonna get into a full off-season recap. And how we're going to do it is this. I want you guys to take your time, and I want these conversations to get deep, rather, if we can. So how I want to go is I want to go around the room and we're just going to ask a question, right? And then let's all chime in. So we have 3 questions and we'll set it up. Biggest surprise, biggest question still not answered, and the one battle you're looking forward to. Now, we'll go through battles in this dead period, but just to recap the offseason, it could be a battle that sparked up that nobody was thinking about. And I have one that I think that I want to talk about, and I did my homework, but we're going to start with Skywalker still. And the offseason surprise could be a coach, Sky. It could be something that you heard about the scheme. It could be a player. It could be Jerry Jones signing George Pickens. Skywalker still, what was your biggest offseason surprise?
I almost went George Pickens. Feels a little low-hanging fruit, but to be honest, is it really a surprise? When the Cowboys have been back in the corner at receiver, they've usually traded for one. It's in their DNA. Des Bryant to trade up to get Joey Galloway, right? Who else are we talking about here? Brandon Cooks just happened a couple years ago. Mari Cooper, Roy Williams, they usually do it. So it's really not a surprise, but I'm kind of thinking on the fly here, man. Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, I don't know how that's not the biggest shocker, the biggest surprise, whatever you want. I remember when it first came down that, hey man, Shotty's being looked at, everybody was like, wait, really? And then when you really take a step back, I'm like, wait a minute, this guy could win a damn room now. And he got an inside track. So I don't think this was BS. This wasn't we're interviewing Marvin Lewis. This wasn't that to me. This was legitimate. But I still didn't think they do it, right? So hiring Brian Schottenheimer as the head coach to me is number one as the biggest surprise.
Hey, Sky, I want to put a pin in something. You were one of the people that knew he could win a room. Did you see it being like this? Did you see it being this captivating, this consistent, bro, I watched something from training camp and he literally sounds like the exact same dude. The players, the emotion, the learn the guys. Did you see it being like this early?
I thought he could be a good leader. I thought he'd bring big energy, but I didn't know he'd captivate the whole entire fan base. Like that is very surprising because you know how we can get. He literally flipped them upside down on their heads. When he got hired. So yeah, I thought he'd bring energy. I thought he'd win the room. I thought he'd win the podium. I did not think he'd win the nation.
John, biggest surprise at offseason. That's a great one, Sky.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely a George Pickens trade. But I can go with the Schottenheimer thing. I guess to be more specific for me on Schottenheimer would be the fact that it hasn't been all smooth. Micah's contract's still not done. And I think the way he's handled everything behind the scenes, the relationships he's built with the players, the ones that he didn't know, before this season, guys that they've added in that, I think that's been a huge thing to where it makes it look like the Pickens thing can certainly work with the environment that obviously that Schottenheimer has helped cultivate, but that obviously players are a big part of that too. But just the fact that, he had great attendance at OTAs and minicamp, despite, I think a lot of people would have thought if we were this far in that Micah Parsons wouldn't show up. And I think if there's a different coach, maybe he doesn't. But I think Schottenheimer's been a big part of having Micah in the building as much as he's had and participating as much as he had while he's trying to get this new contract. So the other part for me too is just the way that Schottenheimer's carried himself. He just seems like a great fit for whenever it inevitably happens, whether it's at training camp or during the week or after a game, when Jerry says something that normally you think is going to really piss off a coach, even though Schottenheimer could be pissed off and probably will be pissed off by some of those things, he does a good job and has done a good job showing that he can handle that stuff. And so he really checks off every box up until we just have to see what he does on Sundays, because all that stuff I just said can be great. But if you're not winning games, that stuff will fall apart real quick, because that's what this business is all judged upon. So that's not even to sit there and say like, oh, they start off and they lose like their first 3 games. Oh, well, he's in trouble. No, I mean, I think he's set up to where he could get the guys to really rally and they would believe in him. But I don't think I'll make a real judgment on that until late in the season or even until the season's over. I want to see him with that full body of work, because we're not going to sit here and act like the expectation should be that, oh, he's just going to hit the ground running. If they don't win 7 of the first 10, then this is just a disaster. No, you got to give him his time. I mean, he's been in the NFL for a long time, but he also is still a first-year head coach. And so he's going to have to be given that room, which I certainly think fans might not, but I know Jerry will. Jerry's not going to turn away from this decision very quickly. So I don't really think there's anything close. People have asked, like at OTA's minicamp, what were your big surprises from what you saw? There weren't any. There really weren't any surprises on the field like that. So for me, it's pretty easy between, for me, it's Pickens is one, but then just how Brian Schottenheimer's handle things would be two.
Law.
That's a great observation, John and Sky. I would say the systems on how the Cowboys have hired their staff, and I hate to give it all to the front office, but when you look at both parties going to get credit with this one, because on one end, Eberflus was hired before Schotty, and then Schotty comes in and he picks Connor Riley, he picks Adam Clayton and Clayton Adams, and that's for his philosophy of running the ball and setting the tone and setting the presence, and I like that all together. And then we look at the moves that they're making. So I would say the system that's been established right now, that's my biggest surprise, because we haven't seen this in a long time.
So, Law, the ecosystem, correct?
Technically,
what we are, energy, relationship,
and Jerry still gets the credit. Yeah, he went out and got Eberflus here, right? And then Schotty can still get the credit because he said, "Hey, I'm gonna bring Connor Riley in." So all of this stuff kind of like gelling together.
Kind of like what John said about giving him time, and I'll have to remind myself with that too, because as fans, we're so up, we're so down. It's going to be important as much as you can to stay patient, because there will be ebbs and flows. That's what's going to happen. And now I will say this: everybody took mine, because Sky and John took mine, which was Brian. But I got it back.
Hey, also with that, there's nobody on the staff that you'd hand the reins over to, so he's got
no.
You think they're about to hand that thing over to Matt Eberflus if stuff starts to go well?
What just happened with the Bears? Not a chance.
No way.
Not a chance. I was thinking about this. I think Sky might have brought it up. Matt Eberflus may never get another job as a head coach, and that's just how it works, especially with a defensive mind.
And he might be fine with that.
Listening to that interview, it sounds like it's tough.
Watching that Super Bowl, man, I just am like, there's nothing wrong with being Steve Spagnuolo, and
I'm telling you, just run your side of the ball.
With that, man.
I think that will be a positive for the Cowboys, because they haven't had that guy. I mean, they've had Rod. So Rod Marinelli was the longest tenured guy, I think, since Mike Zimmer. But since Rod, and even prior to that if you go look at it, they've had 8 now defensive coordinators since 2011. The Rob Ryan to now. That's ridiculous, dude. Like 8 different defensive coordinators. So think about how many, and not just different coordinators, different schemes. 3-4, 4-3, multiple, attacking, take up blocks. I mean, it's so much snip snap. So you're drafting these players, they don't fit that scheme. When you fire the next guy, or the next guy moves on, they don't fit that scheme, and you just don't have continuity. So yeah, if this could be a big time get for Dallas, if he's like, man, I'm cool with being the DC for the next 10 years. Give me Spags. You know what I mean?
I guess if it doesn't work out, Jerry could do the Jim Irsay with the Jeff Saturday thing, and he could just middle of the season, we're going to have Jason Witten be the coach.
Oh, Lord.
You want to talk about wheels off. I think I would hope that everyone learned from that Jim Irsay experience on that don't ever do that again. So I don't think that would happen, but it is Jerry Jones.
That was definitely a fiasco, to say the least.
That was crazy, bro.
And Jeff Saturday, and he's back on ESPN.
He's back on ESPN.
Now, okay, so it's funny because I was doing some research, and I was like, okay, me and Scott did a show earlier this week, and we talked about, okay, what's the offense and the passing game going to look like and all that. And I really think that Schotty is going to bring some new, fresh ideas mixed with Dak at the line of scrimmage, mixed with the run game. So I think that you guys are spot on, man. And what I'll be looking for, John, and we'll be asking you, and Sky's kind of spoke on this as well. Like, bro, I just want to see how it looks in camp, but we really won't probably know all the way in camp, probably preseason and early on. But I feel good. Now, my surprise is Miles Sanders, guys. And here's why. I'm surprised that he's even getting a look in it, and reporters are even I completely wrote, this is me talking to you all, I completely wrote Miles Sanders off as even like an option, as being like a starter, right? And there are people who legitimately say, John, that right now he looks like he has the most juice. Now, pads are not on. We know running back, pads, all that. But I just got to go off what I'm hearing. John, you were actually one of the first people to say, hey, Miles Sanders, he looked like he had a little bit of juice. Then you listen to guys like Bobby Belt, you listen to the flagship station, and they're saying, listen, he's taking a lot of reps with the ones. Now, Shotty has been clear that everybody's getting reps with the ones, right?
Right.
But if this offense is set up how we think it's going to be, where I feel like I'm comping this as far as usage and infrastructure more to Cincinnati, where you have a 1A, 1B, and you have guys that just open the field up for your running lanes, and it just opens up underneath it. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter who's running the ball, but whoever has the high hand, I'm talking about last year with Chase Brown. They had a go ahead.
They weren't, but Joe Mixon is if you want to hope that if you're going to comp it to Cincy, it's the Joe Mixon Big Two era, not.
Well, I hear you, but last year their offense was really good, Sky.
Joe Burrow
defense let him down.
Really good.
No.
Really good. T. Higgins was really good.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He's just a guy.
They had Zach Moss too. They went and got Zach Moss.
I don't know. I'm not going. Yeah. He's going to. What I'm saying is the running back to me. This is me. Let me finish my thought. They open up so much that the running back it matters, but it's not. I don't need him to be Saquon Barkley. I just need him to run the ball and get what he gets. So that's why I'm saying that he's been a surprise for me. And I think that it's crazier things have happened, because what happened with Miles is like, Miles went to Carolina. It's like he didn't do anything. So I think that people are like, well, he can't play. And I'm people, because I didn't think that he would do anything here, but the Cowboys signed him, and it sounds like so far so good.
Yeah, Foots, but it could be a lot of just wordings, though. And I ain't trying to take away your top.
No, go ahead. Because let's talk about it.
Because some fact is that when running backs right around these times, man, anybody can look good.
I don't think
man,
at all.
There's no schemes. It's just running, man. So I just gonna pause.
Let me ask you this though, Law. Let me ask you this: the Bengals last year, right? Remember, we could not stop them, and now we didn't have a great defense, but it's a lot of teams last year. Baltimore. The problem was the Bengals just couldn't get stops. But if you look at that offense, they moved the ball well with two great receivers. Nobody thinks that Chase Brown is a great running back, but he's not bad. He got the job done.
Yeah, but I'm just waiting for the pads and everything.
Yeah, I just with running back physical stuff with running backs at this point, I don't really care. There's nothing you can get from it, because you need to get tackled. You need to have blocks. You need to be able to set it up. You need to see, picking up blitzes. It's just the actual position of running back, you can't determine anything from a physical standpoint until, in my opinion, you get the pads on and get the block and get preseason. What you can determine, though, is the hierarchy, like who's getting the 1 reps, who's getting the passing down reps and things like that. And it is a bit of a surprise, Foots, that Miles Sanders is getting it. But to me, that's an indictment on the room. That's how I'll view it.
That's fair.
And there could even be somebody early in camp that's killing it at running back, and then all of a sudden, Jaydon Blue in one of the preseason games just busts off a couple big runs, and they're just like, yeah, that was fun early, but we know who we're going with now. I mean, I'll never forget how Kavontae Turpin had those 2 big returns, and it was just like, okay, don't let him touch another football. We're good here.
Yeah. Hey,
was crazy. I remember that.
I want to ask Scott something. I want me and Scott to go back and forth on this, right? Could Miles Sanders give you more Sky than Rico Dowdle?
Yes,
sir. I know.
No, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at that comment. It says that Foot saves this show. He's the only likable character.
That must be a troll. Oh I think he must be. Where my mods at? Where my mods at?
Fatty having a good time in the chat. I've been watching Fatty.
I like that.
No, that guy. No.
don't even give him airtime, John.
Don't give
So
him
hey, still,
That's good.
still,
Yeah.
what do you think about that, broski? Like, because here's why I'm saying it, right? I guess I'm just like, I know we need a good runner, but do we need a great runner? Or do we just need somebody to get what we need still? And I don't take it no way.
Yeah,
It's like,
you try to find the silver lining in this room. Like let's
that's what I'm trying to do.
Let's keep it a bean here. Yeah,
Let's
I
keep it
hate to, because somebody thought I wasn't a Cowboy fan. I guess
you said bean.
No, because see that tells me that I'm being very objective about my squad here. I'm not being a homer, right? Yeah. Let's keep it 100.
Hundo.
You put this room up against the rest of the league, bro. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? So what we're doing right now is we trying our best. We trying to.
How many do you think are better?
Man. A lot. A whole lot of them things,
I would have to look at the rosters, Sean.
A whole
Without
lot
looking
of them
at them, I
things.
bet you 25 for me.
Probably 25 more. It's
now,
a lot.
But hold on. But my counter argument and me being how many receiver rooms are better?
Like, we ain't talking about the receiver.
But they go hand in hand still. No. We're not gonna do that still. They go hand in hand. Do they not? The run game and the pass game goes hand in hand. It do.
Run game, not running back.
So you make it okay. But I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you
I just think the system can separate us from the 25, though. That's
so my man still does a documentary on Clayton Adams, and we're not gonna believe in Miles Sanders. I'm just saying
saying for right now.
I'm thinking this still. I'm going Hill. I'm going there.
I'm believing Miles Sanders, man.
I'm starting to drink the tea just a little bit. I'm just saying, dog.
That's not a shocker, Foots. Trust and believe me.
No, Devontae Williams, wait till y'all see me with them pants.
I was believing it. I was believing in Williams first.
2 weeks ago was Devontae Williams, Foots.
Devontae Williams, not Adams. My bad.
It's the flavor of the week. Look, can he give you more than Rico? I think Rico was pretty solid last year for you. You know what I'm saying? Can Miles Sanders have a rejuvenated year? Sure. I think the scheme and the blocking should help every one of these backs, but I don't think either one of them is like that.
And it might not be Rico's fault. I mean, there was a lot of issues last year and stuff, but there just wasn't any explosiveness there. Like you go back to obviously with Zeke and DeMarco Murray, Emmitt Smith, all that, there's obviously huge plays like that. But I'm just going back to even Tony Pollard. Like Tony Pollard, you would at least feel confident there's going to be some explosive plays here that they can do, and you can't sleep on him. Where they haven't had that, and they need somebody that makes you feel that way. And as we sit here today, we can't say that it's anybody that we know of right now. It could be one of these guys. You just would have felt a lot better if, let's say, they make a bigger move in free agency, or they use a second or third round pick on a running back. We would be talking a lot differently right now. Right now, we're just at best you can be cautiously optimistic.
That right there, I think a lot of people, at least I'm gonna speak for myself. I wrote off Miles Sanders back when they signed him because I thought for sure, John, we were drafting a running back.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did technically we drafted 2, but you know what I mean. I thought we were drafting an RB1. So I was like, oh man, they're gonna draft a guy. They're gonna battle it out for RB2 or 3 between Sanders and Jay Will. Then we found out, they took a scat back type of receiving back who can do some run things and a 7th round pick. Okay, I guess Miles Sanders is going to be involved in this situation, and like Foot said, he's hearing positive things, so can't write him off.
If I would have told you 2 years ago that they're going to let Tony Pollard walk, there's no way that you believe in the next 2 drafts that they don't draft anybody at running back in the first 3 rounds. There's just no way you would believe that.
No way.
No. The only way that you'd believe it is if you'd be like, oh, well, then they must have signed somebody notable in free agency that we didn't even know that they would, Like, let's say you got Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry or something like that, where you're like, oh, well, that's why they didn't do it. But for what they've done at running back, it's just so wild to me because it's so anti the way it's been for like the decade before that. It was almost like they were like, we're going to overspend on running back, to almost like, no, we're going to spend the least on running back, No, I don't know if that's a great strategy. Like,
no, John, it's crazy. I was going on Sky's last show talking about backs and giving, a soliloquy on what type of backs we can get and how they help. And this probably was, what was this? This was 3 years ago, Sky. And so you're absolutely right, John. It's a great point to not even, I mean, this goes back to the Gibbs draft, Sky. Crazy.
I was just about to say the Gibbs Robinson draft.
Me and Sky did content, John, and we were talking about those guys and them being in play, and that was the whole you don't take running backs high. And of course now you look and the Boise State kid goes in the top 10. It's just it's so ever changing. That's what the crazy thing about sports. But this is good, guys. Make sure
I
you
would have
guys
said you lying, John, if you would have told me that 2 years
yeah.
ago.
Oh, I definitely would have said there's no way, and there's way. Now, I'll tell you what though, the way that they drafted this year, if it hits, it kind of looks like that it makes sense, especially getting the corner, because you look at those positions, and I'll fight on certain positions, but if Guyton turns into something finally, not finally, but it's a year out, obviously, so he gets a little bit more rope. But Guyton, and let's say Ravel is something, and don't get me started on Ezaraku, and you watch him going through bag drills, John, you ain't lying. He can move. It looks like something. So that was a good one. Okay, Law, I'm coming to you now. Biggest question still not answered. And we just talked about the running back room. It could be that. Whatever you think, Law, still not answered.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Let me address this little guy. Y'all don't listen. That's my problem. Okay. Y'all hear what y'all want to hear. I didn't say nothing about skepticism about the run game. I've literally said many times.
Running back. He said running back.
Many of times. Clayton Adams, Connor Riley here, Brian Schottenheimer, the weapons, like Foot said, the run game's going to improve by default. How much will depend on the running back. And right now, you lying to yourself if you believe you got a running back there that you can be saying, you know what, this dude is the RB1. He going to take it to the next level. You're lying. We have no clue because all of these guys, or two of them got kicked off to their teams, and two are rookies. So That's what I'm saying. I think the run game will be better. I don't know about these running backs just yet, besides Blue as a kind of a pass catchy type guy, RB2 scat back guy. My bad.
And the other thing with me is I keep going back to is the offensive line can be great, and at the end of the day, the stats could look great. One of these guys go over 1,000 yards. That's great, but how often do you just have this running back committee that gets it done in like big moments? I mean, isn't that what you're trying to do? Aren't you trying to play in big moments? Yeah. Aren't you trying to play in big games? Aren't you trying to make the playoffs? Like, how many running back by committees get it done like that?
Our biggest hope
in Arizona.
Become,
so it's hard to compare it to Arizona like that. Like, that's fine. Everything that's great. It worked in Arizona the way that they ran the ball. James Conner had running quarterbacks. That's all great. But like I'm talking about, and I always go back to this because I love the saying because it's so true. And it's, can you run the football when everybody in the building knows that you have to run the football? Yeah, and that's way different than looking at the back of a football card at the end of the year and go, oh, look at this. You got over 1,000 yards. I don't care about that. I'm talking about what happens when it's nut cutting time and it matters most. And most of the time, the guys that get it done there are the better backs in the league. Those are this roster doesn't have that right now. And it might. Maybe we'll find out. But as we sit here today, you don't know that you have that. And it's also hard to go against that theory when you look at the team that won the Super Bowl and their most valuable player.
And also, real quick, shout out to the video that Sky made, Lulu, because it's a great video. I think that, hey, make sure y'all go check a shameless plug there. And I think that's why I want to have these conversations because I'll be honest, sometimes I'm here, I'm there, I'm a jazz player, but hey, if you could tap back into some of what Miles Sanders was, right? And maybe, but I think John's question is, he's right. Who's going to be the lead guy when you need to run the ball? Let's say you got to go to Green Bay this year and you got to be a thug in that weather. We need a thug, right? Because the passing game, you're not in a dome. It's wet. It's gritty. It's 30 degrees, 20 degrees. You're right about that, John. And still you're right about that. The run game can get you out of Dodge so much. The scheme can get you out of Dodge so much. We do have to have a guy. So
they banking it on Javonte right now,
Right now,
and that's what I don't know. That's what I don't know, Law. I don't know if they're banking on Javonte. Do we know that?
Who they think has got the best chance, and it's one of those things where, if Blue or Mafa come along, and you're just like, damn, that's a steal where we got that guy. That's our guy, and that's gonna be our guy for the next 4 years. Hey, that's great.
It's perfect.
But as
hey John,
right now, it probably is Williams. Right.
Let me ask you this: could the season be split could it be split in halves? Right, where it's Miles and Javonte kind of get you to week 10, week 11, and then you start to see Blue is getting it. He's understanding it.
Running back's a young game to me. You'll know with Moffa or Blue before midseason. You'll know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about to have your guy where you're just like, oh, they're not going to have to draft a running back. This is going to be one of those guys. I'm not saying that they won't be solid, but I'm saying running back, you'll know. There'll just be. I really feel like with the two young backs, you're going to know a lot about them after just the preseason games. They're both going to get a ton of carries in the preseason. You're going to, and a lot of those carries, they're not going to be going against other teams' ones. And so you'll see the little things where you're like, oh, damn, that might be a guy. And running back is a spot where you can find some diamonds in the rough, and maybe they do there. But I don't think you'll have to wait till midseason with both running backs. I think of the rookies, I think you'll find out before then if one of them
going to be
the guy.
Fun, especially if Joe Milton is healthy and he's going to get most of the reps. It's going to be RPOs. It's going to be misdirections. It's going to be like, wow, man, the Cowboys offense is nice with all of this new stuff. And I think that's what Shot is going to bring to the table too. All of that misdirection, redirection stuff.
Oh, this is the most I've been looking forward to preseason in a long time.
Yeah. All right, Law. Biggest question leading into.
I mean, it's got to be one tech. You know, we're leaning on the hopes that my guy Mozzie can perform at a third year level. So, in our depth chart, we just cut it even smaller now. Zempic boys at the one tech because we got rid of Justin Rogers and
Zempic boys is crazy word.
And Perry Winfrey, he's 290. So that's a lot of fat,
Hey, Law, let me ask you this.
Okay.
John's giving us the stats. Do you trust Matt Eberflus to stop the run?
I do trust Matt Eberflus, but most importantly, here's the craziest thing. Aaron Whitecotton, if you go back and watch the history of Javon Kinlaw, even though he's on another team, but when he went to the Jets, he performed crazy good.
Very well.
Way beyond his bust status over there from San Francisco.
With the Niners.
And then Solomon Thomas as well. And then Solomon Thomas, yes, indeed. Yeah. And Quentin Williams, even though Quentin Williams is going to be good regardless, but I've seen tape of Aaron Whitecotton going back and forth with Quentin Williams. So I think that's going to be the very much so equalizer of us stopping the run is Aaron Whitecotton is going to tell Jerry the truth.
Okay.
About the play.
Let's go, John. Biggest question.
I mean, we already talked about corner. I think the one technique, defensive tackle, those are all good. I don't think there's anybody that would debate any of those. But for me, it's Micah's contract. It's in Jerry's best interest to not have this be a distraction going into the season, but it is also Jerry Jones. And so there is a chance that he doesn't get it done entering training camp. And then what if it drags on? What if it drags on into the season? What if it is one of those things where Jerry's like, I'll just franchise tag him next year. Like the ramifications of trying to do that just aren't great for a first-year head coach who's got everything going in a good direction. And so to me, that is a huge question mark right now. When does that contract get done? When does Micah Parsons have a new extension and kind of all of that other drama type stuff is gone? Because I think if you take care of that, it's out of the picture and you have a young coaching staff can just focus on everything on the field and not having to deal with any potential distractions.
Sky.
I would just piggyback off of Law in a way, not necessarily the one tech. I do think that's a big question. Obviously, hell, we talk so much about running back. I still think RB1 is a big question. Like we just don't know. Like John said, who's the guy you lean on? Yeah, there might be the guy that goes out there and starts, but once you get into nut cutting time, is there somebody you could tote the rock 20, 25 times because that's what's called for? But stopping the run in general, because I do think it's beyond one person or one position. I do trust Flus to answer your question, but could that take some time? It's possible. That might not be right away. Hell, it took Zimmer a month or so to kind of get that thing under control. Hopefully it doesn't take a whole year, y'all. But Flus's track record shows he can, but the Cowboys' track record shows they can't. So when the rubber meets the road, hopefully when you're in the postseason, can you stop the run there? Because you have been getting whooped in the postseason in that regard. So that's the biggest question. Unfortunately, we can't answer that for a long time. But.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, I think that the offense will find its stride, and that's kind of what is, I would say, camouflage this run game defense at times because we get up in games. It kind of takes away the teams being able to sit on the ball, run the ball. Then when you get to the playoffs, like you said, Sky, you don't get the ball first or you stall out on the drive, and then they're controlling the ball. Then it looks different. You can't get a stop. You can't hold a field goal. You can't. It makes a big difference. So that's good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Guys, this video is brought to you guys by BetUS. All your betting needs. This is a cool one. Some plays here you guys thinking? This is a dope graphic.
Yeah.
That's a cool.
Talking about a lot of this.
That's a cool graphic, man. So
you got the PSU Miles Sanders.
That's what I'm saying, man. Not bad. Bet US. So Bet US has all your betting needs, and also, guys, make sure that you guys are checking us out anywhere you listen to podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. What's some other ones, guys? Y'all help me out. I don't know, but if you listen to a podcast, iHeartRadio. You listen to a podcast, you need to be listening to the Cowboys Collective, and you need to be dropping us a 5-star review. We need that. Go say Foots is crazy. Go say John is a cynic. Actually, everybody go type in the comments 5 stars. John is a cynic. That's what.
Yeah, you need it.
I'm trolling, guys, but Bet US, this video and this podcast, the cost is brought to you guys by Bet US. For me, my biggest question, guys, is the quarterback's health. I know who Dak is with good receivers around him. I know what he's going to do with the line of scrimmage. Me and Sky just talked about what he is going to do throwing the ball deep, Sky. He's going to take shots. People who think that, I saw something this week. It was so funny, John. They said Pickens is more like Dez, and Dak and Dez didn't play well together. I said, it's kind of funny that people just see football totally different. Pickens is a lot like Dez, but I see two totally different skill sets to me. Yes, he does. Pickens does have the jump ball ability, the fade ball stuff, the acrobatic catches. But I think that when you talk about like running the middle of the field and actually running past you, Pickens is night and day over Dez. Dez was a possession, big body. Dez was not a guy that was going to blaze past you. I don't think that's a hot take for me personally. Like, what do you think Dez ran in a 40, Law?
I would just say it would be foolish to think that Dak Prescott is the same quarterback that he was then. That would be like comparing Tony Romo early on in his career with some of those receivers that maybe he didn't connect with as well as he did with some of those guys at the back end. I know what they're saying. Believe me, there were times where Dak and Dez didn't completely click on things, but Dak was a really young quarterback at that time. I just think there's so many throws that Dak makes now that he never would even have tried at those times. And honestly, I don't think they wanted him to because of the fact that they wanted to lean so heavily on the run game and he was a young quarterback. But I know what people are saying. I don't see those being the same issues though at this stage of Dak's career. If he's healthy, they'll be fine. Yeah,
he'll throw Pickens open. And John, you've been out there and you've said multiple times they look like they're on the same page. I want to get to this super. Hey Keith, shout out to you. Shout out to your shape up, bro. I'm just saying, bro. I mean, this is you've been holding us down with the super chat. And thank you. John will be at camp. Me and Sky, we still up in the air, and Law will too. So he'll be giving you updates from there. And we'll be giving you guys updates when we talk on this live. And you can't get this type of content from the one, the GOAT, the one, the only. I guarantee you, I'm taking the over at least 5 times a major media outlet steals one of John's videos. Whether it's 5, you like more than that, Sky?
Yeah, man, they're gonna raid John.
Raid John. Don't let it be a fight. Don't let Pickens and Bland. Well, Bland probably ain't gonna fight Pickens. Who gonna fight? Don't let Pickens and McQuamu go at it and John right there with
That's a good pick. McQuamu involved in anything like that seems like a good pick.
That's the one. Okay, so we stamped it on episode 41. Foot said McQuamu and Pickens.
Definitely see that.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that one.
So that, but in all, thank you so much for that, bro. Thank you for that super. And my question is just Dak's health. Like, and he jumped right off the porch and was ready to go. And he looks like he's, again, we always say best shape of your life season. Dak is locked in, bro. Like, I don't see people say, well, Tom's gonna say I'm calling Dak a snack. Tom, I'm not calling him a snack. I'm just saying this is what we do in the draft community. I'm looking at if he's in shape. I'm looking. Tony used to walk around with a gut. Tony would drink a beer and go to practice. Tom, so at least Dak still got abs. He locked in, bro. So
wait.
No, I didn't. You thought get your head out the gutter, Law. Get your head out the gutter. All right. Is Prescott healthy? That's the biggest thing. If he's healthy, this offense rolls to me. So that's one of my biggest questions. And we'll know. And we'll need to know. Okay.
Good one.
Still, Skywalker still making documentaries. He's doing great things, bro.
Come on with it.
One battle. And Sky, don't play defense. Give me some heat here still. One battle you're looking forward to.
Dog, I'm sorry that I keep running back to this. RB1, man.
No. Tom, get on still. He's not allowed to do this, Tom.
RB1.
Tom, he's not allowed to do this.
What? I can't explain myself. I won't go crazy like I did earlier. Let me just explain myself.
He's not allowed to do this, Johnny. No.
Linda, listen.
Linda, listen. I can't tell shit from no OTA and minicamp, Foots.
I'm with you. I'm with you still.
So training camp and preseason is like, so look, running back, O-line, D-line. That's where I'm ready to see these units. Why you think we ain't hearing nothing about no D-line and offensive line and minicamp and training camp? You really ain't hearing nothing about running back. It's just the shock factor, quote, that Miles Sanders is running with the ones. In reality, no, seriously, I hate to do this.
Do it, Sky.
It shouldn't be. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Jaydon Blue ain't RB1. Phil Moffa's a 7th round pick. They're rookies. You didn't go sign any other veterans outside of Javonte Williams. So for real, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams should be rotating with the ones.
Yeah, I feel you.
But I can't get nothing from this, man. So that's the battle I'm looking forward to, because that is going to be an important role. Whoever is the Cowboys lead guy that gets the 200 or so, touches, right?
Yeah,
that's a good one. Still, I understand. It's one that, that's real. Because we don't know, and it's a position that last year was a mess. Just think about the Rico not getting on the field, and Zeke, and even Zeke being brought back was politics as usual. Wow, John, give me a battle you're looking forward to, buddy.
Actually, let me go last on this one, because when you texted that to the group, I immediately that was my favorite one of them all, and I have 5, so I'll just fill in the gaps for whatever you guys don't have.
Yeah. So I'll go on this one.
Jalen Brooks versus
no. I'm going.
Andre Booth, baby.
These are all pretty much starter type things.
I got an underrated one, and we haven't given this position group much love still. I'll go linebacker room. What does that deployment look like? Because we'll sit here and say, so I'm talking out of my ear, my eyes, my nose. I'm talking out of every side of my neck. But we'll sit here and say, well, everybody's getting run with the ones, but Kenneth Murray, Jack Sanborn, Maris Lewis-Fowler, what does it look like? What do the snaps look like? I just want to know. You know what I mean? So that's a battle that I want to see. Who stays healthy? Who's where they're supposed to be? Who's making plays? Who's getting interceptions? Who's flashing? Is it another backer that we're not talking about? That's one for me. That's a battle. And I was gonna go, honestly, John, tight end 2 as well. Is this the time for Brevin and Luke? Because I don't read much into Brevin taking. He's not gonna take Jake Ferguson's job. Jake is too valuable. But tight end 2 is valuable though. Yeah, but tight end 2 is valuable, and they could just say, you know what? Brevin is a better, anytime Brian Schottenheimer just said, he went out his way to say, man, he does some good things. You can't teach size. So those would be my 2. Law, what battle are you looking forward to, buddy?
Oh man, I just can't wait to see the edge rusher room when you have Parsons and Ezra-Rucku on the other side. But most importantly, the battle of the rotations of that edge rushing room. Who's going to be Parsons? He's penciled in. Okay, we get that. But who's going to be the next guy? Is it Marshawn Nealon? Is it Sam Williams? We're hearing good stories about Sam Williams. Is it Donovan Ezra-Rucku? Is it Peyton Turner? Can he be somebody's dark horse? Right. So the edge room will be the most intriguing thing. And then Dante Fowler saying, dog, you just going to leave me out? Right. So that room, I can't wait to see in training camp. And then you got to go and look at who they going up against. Tyler Guyton, and then I'm hearing all type of stuff that they rotated Nate Thomas on the outside now, right? If I'm reading that correctly. And then
Nate Thomas
Terrence
played some second team
right tackle
and right guard. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Ooh,
and then you got awesome Richard. So you got all of this stuff going on. It's going to be a fun camp watching them boys trying to fight for that spot, and they know it's going to be out there, and the competition going to be real.
John.
Yeah, that was definitely one of them for sure, Law. I just did specifically because I feel pretty confident with what Micah and Fowler are, but it's who's that younger, I guess you could say, even though Sam Williams isn't young, but out of Sam Williams, Nealon, and Ezeraku, which one of those like really emerge? Because I'd be stunned if one, if not more than one, don't emerge. I just think that they got a lot of depth in that group. So that will be a big one for me. Tyler Guyton, you already mentioned, that'd be one for as well. George Pickens and CD, just the way that they line up, some of the different things that they do together. And just obviously, like we talked about, the rapport with Dak. And then another one that for me is just Mozzie Smith against any of these interior, they're younger offensive linemen, but they all are looked upon as they're going to have some pretty great careers.
Oh, I see where you going with it, John. Like the battles between the
whether
two.
It's Tyler Smith, whether it's BB,
okay,
whether it's Booker, like just seeing stuff, he's got to show something against these guys, and also them vice versa going against him on the interior. Again, that's the type of stuff you're just getting none of that in OTAs and minicamp. You're not going to get without the pads on to see that. And then the last one for me is just that there's going to be some big moments from Joe Milton. I just want to see how he kind of carries off of the last time he was on a field, because he ended last season on a real high. I mean, he played great for the Patriots in that game against the Bills. And so now he gets traded, and I'm looking forward to him. He's the number one I'm looking forward to in the preseason games, but in these training camp practices too, just the big arm, just seeing some of the things that he can do. And then out of the running backs, the first one I thought was just, I want to see Jaydon Blue in live action, because that's going to just tell you so much more once the pads come on. And I think he's got a chance to do some big things because of the fact that there's just so many weapons for them, that the defense to worry about, that he's just going to be in some really advantageous situations, even in training camp. And so he's going to get a chance to really have some highlight carries. But I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, there's just a lot of things, first team offense, first team defense, that you guys already touched on too, that I'm looking forward to.
Can I stay there on the blue thing? Because I just think back to 2019 and Tony Pollard's rookie year, where he showed off in preseason. Tony Pollard, you said, okay, he's got pop. He plays running back. I don't need to ease him in, get him involved. I know Zeke just got paid. It's going to help Zeke out if you don't have to give him 25 touches every game. And then what happens? They don't use Tony Pollard that much early in his career. I don't think Shoddy's going to do that. First of all, there's no Zeke in this room. Second of all, you want to utilize all those type of weapons. So I don't think it's going to take much. Like you said, if Blue pops just a few big runs, all right, young fella, come on over here. Let's get you ready and get you in a legitimate role. But he might be, aside from Joe Milton, the most exciting preseason player that I'm looking forward to watching, because you ain't going to get Lamb and Dak and Pickens and Furt. They ain't playing out there. But Blue, Blue's going to be fun.
And I was thinking about something that John just said, Sky. That's my point. There's so many weapons that screw everything I said about Miles Sanders, right? Just for that, for the sake of this argument. If Blue can pop with the weapons you have, that's where your running back, like that's where your Chase Brown in Cincy's offense last year. Because if nothing else, hey, maybe we aren't running the ball the way we want to, but if we're sending these guys on goals and we could get a swing out the backfield or a wheel route or something, and he's the only running back that could do that, that's something that you may have to lean into, right? Because you look at Jaydon Blue run routes, and I'm actually working on a piece. He can really run. Like there was some talk, it was silly, like, oh, put him at receiver. No, but he has that type of ability in space versus backers. Like think about it, John, when they do those, I don't know if Shoddy will do this, but when they call guys up and it's like, hey, Maris Lewis-Fowl versus Blue, and you got either a Texas, a 5 and out. Oh, he gonna cook in those, John, because that's what he do. And I think that could be the world that gets him on the field as well, because, hey, screw staying in here for protection. They got all these eyes, and they got two safeties high, and they got two, and the box is light, and they're running the coverage and dropping the zones. Let's flick this ball out to a guy who's going to be a dude in space. And that's that world. So I completely agree. One that I wanted to add, and I say that we haven't talked about Tyler Booker. Like, it's crazy. Like, we've talked about him, but you so spot on, John. I want to see Mozzie Smith, Jay Toia, Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe. Like, I just want to see those board drills.
Osa still. Osa against Tyler Booker too.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this though, still. Oh, you know what? You do want to see that because the quickness, right? Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That type of 3-10, which I think you can, but you want that battle, right? Iron sharpen iron.
Hey, you know what too though, still? Because I think that Mozzie, like, because when you think about it, Mozzie is right up Booker's alley because if he's trying to bull rush Booker, I just don't see that happening, right? He drops his anchor, those long arms when he presses you. That's not. So yeah, you absolutely right. Another one, Diggs. He said something today. He was on that live stream. I don't know if you guys caught it. And he said something, Scott. He said, Sam Williams is the name that people need to.
Oh, yeah.
He said that. And so it got me to thinking, maybe some Sam. We know what Micah's going to do versus Guyton, but maybe some Sam Williams versus Guyton action.
You know, Sam Williams is one of those potential starters we're just not talking about because of the injury. Like, in reality, everybody should want Sam Williams to be starting opposite of Micah Parsons. Because he fits the profile. He brings the juice that D-Law lacked later in his career, but the size and ability to play the run and power that D-Law has. You really want it to be Micah, Sam, right? And then the rotation of Dante Fowler, Izaraku, and Nealon. If we can get that, boy, that I think it's going to be a fantastic edge. But yeah, Sam Williams is that one starter we're just like not talking about, but he should be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a good nugget there because with Sam, it's like it's just you just keep waiting. You just keep waiting. But then you hear Diggs say, like, bro, Diggs went out. He went out as far as to say is he's as fast as Micah. Now I'm never gonna say that.
Wasn't he 4? Was he 4? I think it was 4'4".
4'4". Yeah, 4'4", 6'3", 275-ish. Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though. Still, did we think that he's really as fast as Micah?
No, he's not fast.
But he did clock a 4. If he clocked a 4.14, that's crazy.
4 something, I believe. I could be wrong.
At that height and size and that hit you. Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah.
Then that's that speed to power talk you talk about still. Yeah. Like, and with Whitecotton.
You got it. If Fowler had 10 sacks, that's your starter opposite Parsons. If he's your early down starter, I'm running that Fowler every time.
The way y'all talk, Toxic Tom said it.
Yeah, it's not talent. No, it's not talent. No, at all. It's up here.
This isn't year 2.
Right, it's year 4.
That's true, John. John putting the fire out.
Stuff, but it's more than just. It's always been more than just that. So,
well, my approach with him, I'm thinking that we're not signing Sam Williams long term. So for 25, you want Sam Williams to go out there and play a contract year season because you drafted Izaraku, you drafted Nealon. Sam's not long for this team for the future. But if he can come back, and again, ACLs, you don't normally come back right away. But Sam, if Sam is ready to go, you want Sam Williams to be your starting opposite of Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Tom did say, hey, John, that's why Tom he's the GOAT. But let me ask you this, John. When we say that, right, he's never been in legal trouble. So if you don't mind, if you don't want to say it, okay. Let me shut up then.
Yeah.
Did he have legal trouble? Did he Sky?
Yeah, the car thing in college, but nothing like.
No, he got a car accident with the Cowboys.
Yeah, but also I think he had a SA situation. I think in school, maybe it was like JUCO or something. But so did Pickens, and that got wiped away, I believe it was. But no, I don't think he was gun under seat drug guy or whatever. He was driving too fast. And Jerry said, well, you know what? He only went 95 this time, so we're good to go. Yeah.
And they kind of
but it's really no joking matter because we've seen multiple football players commit vehicular manslaughter.
Right.
So hopefully Sam is maturing, right? He has to mature. And that's the big thing with Sam Williams.
Henry Ruggs. Is there any other battles that you guys wanted to talk about before we get out of here? Because we're entering the dead period.
Lulu said something about the safeties, and I'm big. Break the pool stick, throw it in there, may the best man win. Yeah. I really would love Wanye and Marquise Bell to get a fair shot. I know. I believe his Hooker has a little bit of edge. He was there when Eberflus got there early on in Indianapolis, and I do think Hooker is the veteran in that room. But man, I love if there's real competition. I really want to see those young bucks get a shot.
I think we got one more super, and that was it.
I think there's two. There's one that was like $1.99, and there's another one that, and the other one after is really good. It's a great question.
Okay, yeah. and that's you know what, Sky? I wanted you to stay on the safeties because I got a question on Twitter, and I promised this guy I would ask him. I will answer it. He wanted me to ask you guys this. I said, well, okay. He wanted to ask about the safeties, strong suits, but we'll get to these supers. And
starting with Matt Lennox, I think that's the last or the first.
Okay, let's get to the supers. Yeah, let's get to the supers. Make sure that we do the supers. So fantastic group here. Good stuff, fellas. Thank you, Matt Lennox, M Lennox. We appreciate you. Listen, guys, this thing is growing. 417 people in a dead period. And so you guys know, pull up a seat for the season. It's going to roll. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Matt. Let's get to Keith again.
I mean, can you just imagine like what one of these would do? I always talk about this with people. If like they made like a Super Bowl run.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I always think about that. As long as I've covered the team, I always think about what would it be like?
People watching.
What would it be like if they won the Super Bowl? Like just how these things would go, man.
You beat Philly week one?
I'm losing.
The Cowboys Collective will be at 2K. Easy. You beat Philly week one, and don't let Pickens have a big game, John.
Yeah. I'm talking about like doing one of these after like an NFC Championship game win. Can you just imagine that?
No, I know I seen Law, you know, get licked up. I'll be the same way, bro.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah. Hey, listen. You talk about people all have on shiesties. Yeah. Hey, listen. If we go into the NFC Championship game, that means Pickens had a year, John. I'm
man.
And we would be
put up and Sam Williams.
So I think this is the one that John. So John, this is the one that I think.
I keep skipping my man D Shift, man.
I didn't get it. My bad, bro. My bad. It's okay. Okay, you take this one, Sky. Is this pass rush gonna help defense unlike 2014? I don't understand.
So 2014 and 2016, we didn't have a prolific pass rush. I think.
That is the only
year.
That's the only reason why I say 2023 is the best team over the last 15 years is because it had a really good defense. Those 14 and 16, that's what it was missing. It didn't really have that type of a defense where you're like, okay, they can hold their own if we need them to type defense. Not to say that 23 was all defense either. It's still been a pro offense. Look where the money spent. The Cowboys spend most of their money on offense. But I'm just saying, like, that's the only thing that was holding 14 and 16 back is just their defense was just not on the level that it didn't have a Micah Parsons. It didn't have a DeMarcus Ware.
Man, this pass rush is going to be insane. I think
I was just about to say that, bro.
Top 5 pass rush, bro.
It should be. Something really went wrong if it's not.
You know what though? This starts a whole different thing here. There's a weird kind of pattern here with Matt Eberflus. He never develops a guy that gets like 10 plus sacks. I don't know what that's about. But he got Micah Parsons now, but he's never really done it, I believe, in the league, which is very strange. But you also got to take context. Who was his rushers, right? It wasn't Micah. It wasn't, Dante. It wasn't Raku, Sam. Like this is a prolific rush. I think he'll break that streak. I think maybe
I'm almost positive he was the DC in Indianapolis when Darius Leonard was just a monster.
Oh yeah, linebackers is a different story.
Yeah.
Pass rush. I think Justin Houston was like the only guy that got 10 plus as a DC/OC, which I thought was interesting. But dang, Micah.
Darius Leonard was under him. I thought Darius Leonard was about to be basically like what, like Warner. Those guys are now, where you're just like, damn, this guy's gonna be the man for the next decade.
Fam, he broke his neck, and I still wanted him because of what he did.
So check this note. May be wrong, but I was listening to something today. When Micah came back, he led the league in pressures by 14 pressures. He had 11 sacks, I want to think, or crazy number of sacks, that if he would have played the whole year, he would have finished with 22 sacks. So when people say things like, he disappears or he doesn't affect Micah, Micah was crying versus the Bengals because he wanted to win that game. People, it's Cooper Rush. Micah is he loves this game and he's damn good at it. And you have not. I tell people, I got a bunch of kids that go up to Penn State, Sky, and LeVar Arrington runs a camp, and he was telling people back then, like, bro, this guy is probably going to be, if not the best, he may be the best defender to come out of Penn State. And that's saying so much. How many people have, because like, this is the thing, like with Abdul Carter, right? We pencil Abdul Carter in as a great pass rusher because of what Micah's done. Whenever we do that, these guys never hit. Like, it was the same thing with the kid from Oklahoma State. Oh, man. Who was the Justin? He actually just passed away. Rest in peace.
Are you about the wide receiver?
Wide
receiver? Justin
Black? But no, he didn't pass away. He got
arrested again or something.
Not pass away. I'm not trying to kill you, Justin Black. But remember, it was like he's dead. Yeah. And it's like
he was. Did you ever see his Oklahoma State career?
No, facts. It was great in college, but when he got to the league, it just didn't turn
he
into.
Was a beast his rookie year, and then it was because of talent. He was a drunker. He was a drunk.
Nah, facts. But
he was a drunk.
Okay. Who else was supposed to be dead? It was the kid from Ole Miss.
Yes.
Who?
I think that was Justin.
What is it? Treadwell. Laquan Treadwell.
Yes,
Laquan.
Treadwell.
So that was a bad example, Scott. Laquan Treadwell. I just think that with Micah, bro, like, I will never accept Micah slander. He could be better versus the run. I get it. But, like, if that's the case and he's getting 50, he got, like, some crazy number of pressures. It was insane. And honestly, pressures to me mean more than sacks because you're moving an athlete like Jaydon Daniels off his spot, where if you let him sit back there and be comfortable and run around, he's going to kill you. The fact that you're moving him off his spot, his antennas start going crazy. He doesn't have a clip. Like, that's what you want. So, man, with Micah he's going to have more than 10 sacks for sure.
Exactly. He ain't never have a mic.
He ain't never the point. That's a long-winded way to say that, Scott. Facts. He never had a mic. John, I'm going to give you this one. If you can only pay one, Pickens or Bland, this is the one that which one would you pay?
That's a great
why?
question. I'm probably going Pickens, to be honest with you. I mean, if he plays the way that I think he's capable of playing, to pair him with CD for what will probably be the rest of Dak's career, I got to go there. But I mean, I don't think you can go wrong either way, to be honest with you, because I think Bland is his versatility and just, I don't know, he's just very even like behind the scenes, just so business-like. Like, you don't have to worry about anything with him. Comes to work, like, just great team guy. And I mean, he plays a really important position, and he can play all of those corner positions. So I wouldn't hate either one. But if you tell me I got to pick one or the other, obviously it would be Pickens off of if he has the year that we think he's capable of having.
Wow, that's a good one right there. I got a question on Twitter from Bryant Barr Jr. And I guess we could all take this one in. We'll start our dead period, guys. Talk about the strengths and weaknesses of each safety tonight on the Cowboys Collective. So I don't know if we'll be able to go that deep, but he says and how they fit in the 4-3 cover 3 scheme. So I kind of just
he don't run cover.
Yeah. And that he doesn't really run. Yeah, his scheme is a little. I'll let you could jump in and take this guy.
I'm not about to. That's four.
Talk about what you like about Donovan Wilson.
About to say,
that's a lay. I'll just say this about the safety room. And Brian, thank you for listening. And we gave you a shout out because you hit us on you hit me on Twitter, and I appreciate it. So that's dope.
Can we pin this?
Yeah, we'll pin this for next one. I'll just say this about the safety room to add to what Sky said. The safety room is like this. I think I do want to see more Wanye, but I just don't know how it happens if they don't play terrible, John. And honestly, there were times last year where Donovan Wilson played terrible and they still didn't move him off the field. So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's one where I don't even know if I have an answer to give.
Competition. Let it be a real competition. That's how we find out. But if they don't, then, they'll put the vets out there.
Yeah. Because I want there to be a clean competition. I just think they love Malik Hooker. I think this team, the front office loves Malik Hooker. And there's been times where I'm just like, I could stand to have somebody else back there free. But they love Malik Hooker. And then there's been times where I'm like, I'm cool on Donovan Wilson because he's a huge liability in coverage, but he's so physical and he brings an attitude that I don't know.
I tell you one thing about sneaky about Dono is his run game factor.
You're right.
Eberflus will rely on these DBs to play the run, and he can't cover as good as the other guys, but he damn sure could,
sure can't
hit you.
You're right. You're right about that, Scott. And
he's probably one of the last guys on the team that you'd like to get in a fight with. Let's put it that way.
John, that dude is physical, bro, and he's one of the few players, bro, in the league that I can say it doesn't matter who the running back is. He does not make a business decision law. Like he's going to try to knock your face off. And there's a place for that in the league, bro. Like he fits everything. It's just
screaming down that alley, bro.
Right.
Running the alley still.
Yeah.
All right, man. We gave you guys overtime. The Cowboys Collective, as Law would say, the Four Horsemen. Guys, we're getting into the dead period, so get ready for. I'm pretty sure there'll be talks about where Micah went out to eat, what new tattoo somebody got. Today was a setback with Stephon Reveal. Am I missing anything, guys?
No. All I want to see is training videos and no strip clubs, no racing. You know what I'm saying?
It's the scariest part if you in the front office and coaches because they got 6 weeks.
Hey, did you guys hear Aaron Whitecotton? I love that when he said to the you heard that, Sky? Did you catch that nugget?
You talking about the mic'd up, or you just talking about like a specific part of mic'd up?
The mic'd up. There's a specific part, and then he said, hey, yo, guys, come talk to these young guys. They got a long break. Make sure you guys have something to say to these kids about what they're doing with their time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the stuff, John. Now, are they going to do it? Who knows? I don't. We just talked about Sam Williams. Hopefully he doesn't do nothing. Sam, come on, Sam. Trying to get you on the field. But I like that, though. Like, I know this could be another 20 minutes, but he has some really good energy. I don't know if that's just he has some good energy, bro. I like that he didn't even want to shake Clayton Adams' hand. Yo, you're an offensive guy. I don't even want to talk.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, Sky, we back. I don't even want to talk to you right now.
I love it, man.
He gave him this. He gave one of these. Nah, don't dab me up. Give you a finger. Get out.
I think he's such a great compliment to Flus, because Flus is a bit of a hard ass. He might not be like Rod, but I don't know if he's that far off. And Whitecotton, he doesn't. I don't think he's as. And John, maybe you can speak to this. I call him the Bond villain, Coach Abe Dirty. Like, I know I don't want to say this, but like, he's British, right? So it sounds different. He didn't play in the league. Players.
I know exactly what you mean, bro.
Coach Foot's like,
I know exactly what you mean, bro.
Like me trying to go down there and tell, Osa the Gizua, man, get up, attack that guy. Like, bro, shut up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that's how they did it, bro. I don't want to be that harsh. But Aaron Whitecotton's his resume is there, right? Yeah. Jacksonville, Buffalo, San Francisco, the Jets, and look what he's done. Solomon Thomas can vouch for him, right? So I just think it's different. I know we had the hard ass last year with Coach Z, but that was a messed up situation putting those guys on 1-year deals. I think Whitecotton brings a little bit of, I'm gonna teach these guys. I'm also get on their ass, but I'm gonna motivate them and want them to play for me, right? Yeah. And I think that complements Flus so well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
My bad. I didn't mean to make another 20 minutes.
Oh, no. You good. This has been a great show. All right, guys. Listen, we gave you guys all we had for the Cowboys Collective tonight. And I feel like we hit a lot of nuggets on this offseason breakdown. If you guys are running this back, make sure you send this around to your aunties, your uncles. They got time to listen to it because there's no football on and the finals is about to be over, Law. And we just, I don't know. We got to make it. But we will have topics coming to you guys. We're switching the schedule up. You guys make sure you guys turn on your notifications so you guys can get notified as to when we will be going live 1 day a week up until training camp. Then we're going to turn the volume back up during training camp. John will be at training camp. Law will be at training camp. So, as always, for Skywalker Still, John Machota, Law Nation, the Cowboys Collective, Law, take us away.
And remember, you're listening to the sounds of the four horsemen or the four goats of the Cowboys Collective. Come on with it.
That's Law. Peace, y'all. Love you guys.
Much love.